I've grown monsteras in all different shapes and sizes, from leafless stumps to fully fledged hipster variegated plants, but I've often wondered if they can be grown from seed. I've never grown tropicals from seed. I've done sunflowers and whatnot in the garden, but nothing as exotic as this. Do they even grow seeds? Should make for an interesting video, eh? So let's have a look. While I'm grabbing my computer, I'll let you know that this video is sponsored by Squarespace, but more on them in a jiffy. So it turns out these bad boys grow an abundance of fruit when they're not all cooped up living in your darkly lit home all day, and these fruits eventually turn into seed. Nice. So I wonder how easy these are to grow. It looks like there's a bunch of online sellers, so should be a doddle, right? Famous last words. Right, challenge accepted. Let's order some. So it says I'm buying Monstera deliciosa. I wonder if these are actually Monstera deliciosa or the much more common but less exciting Bozzigiana. If you didn't know, the big monsteras you see paraded on Instagram with lots of slits and holes in the leaves are usually deliciosa, whereas the little one you bought from IKEA that doesn't seem to want to size up and mature is almost definitely a Bozzigiana. One's a bit more expensive than t'other. And here they are. This package has just arrived. Weird looking things, aren't they? Definitely not what I was expecting. They look more like beans you might use for pasta fagioli than anything else. Hopefully I have been sent the right thing. I was expecting something much bigger and much more, well, impressive. From this little seed to massive monstera, we shall see, I guess. So like I say, I'm pretty new to all this, so I'm having to go off the instructions the seller provides on their website. It says to soak for 12 to 24 hours, so that's why I'm popping them in this glass of water and sitting them on this cabinet. But why are some floating and some sitting at the bottom of the glass? Bit weird. Does that mean I've got some duds? That's a thing, right? Or am I thinking of eggs? Anyway, the place they call home for 24 hours needs to be warm apparently. Yeah, actually I hope this spot is warm enough. Maybe I've not thought this through. I'm starting this in the depths of winter, so it means my house will be pretty chilly for the evening and night they'll be spending here. I hope that doesn't cause issues for germinating. Ah well, let's crack on anyway. Content waits for no man. So, this is the seeds after 18 hours or so sitting in my chilly dining room overnight. They should have swelled apparently. Do you think they've swelled? They look a bit bigger and a bit greener to be fair, so maybe I'm onto something after all. Right, let's get these little fellas into some dirt so they can start having a root making party. Use plastic shallow seed trays with drainage. Not got any of those. I should have looked up all this before soaking the seed, shouldn't I? Oh well, these will have to do. I'm sure it's fine. A pot of dirt is a pot of dirt at the end of the day. They won't know the difference between a tray and a pot, will they? They've got drainage holes, which is all that matters, I think. It says to go soilless, and this is something I do actually have on hand. Cybotanica's Aroid mix should be perfect. Plenty chunky enough to not suffocate the little fellas. I've got 9 pots for 10 seeds, so 2 seeds are going to have to try and get along in the same bed, the lucky fellows. So like I said, I foolishly started this process in the middle of January, so we're only going to get about 8 hours of the good stuff a day, so I'm going to have to pop these under my Sansi grow lights to give them half a chance of germinating. And that 20 degrees Celsius minimum temperature is really not going to happen. I make the Sheffield clan suffer at less than 19 degrees Celsius at the best of times, and I certainly don't have the heating on during the night. And I most definitely don't want to put the heating on any longer for the benefit of some seeds. It costs a fortune at the moment, as we all know. They'll have to like it or lump it. The perfect attitude, eh? So we're all set up now. All that's left to do is pray for a miracle. They take 10 days to sprout, so I'll see you then. Or just a second for you, you lucky thing. But before we do, I think it's time we heard about how I set up my own website using today's video sponsor, Squarespace. I don't mind admitting that I was pretty terrified about where to even begin with all this website creating malarkey, because it all seems so alien, doesn't it? But trust me, Squarespace makes it all so simple. I had mine more or less set up in an hour. So it's great if you're a budding plant parent like me that wants to share your experience with the world, or if you've got something to sell, because it's packed with nifty tools and templates with SEO and AI tools to help you get discovered fast by more people. So head to squarespace.com to get started with a free trial, and when you're ready to do your thing, follow the link in the description to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Alrighty then, it's now 2 weeks later, my plant friend. Longer than the 10 days it promised on the website. There should be some action, shouldn't there? Oh. Well, that's anticlimax of epic proportions. No sign of anything on any of them. Just 9 pots of dirt I've got here. Am I doing something wrong? Maybe it's the temperature. Could be the light. Maybe it's because they're not covered like it advised on the website. No point chucking them in the bin just yet, I guess. It does say they can take 3 weeks, so I best be a bit more patient. I'll up the hours these Sansia lights are on from 12 to 16 and see if we can spark some life into these things. Right, we're now 5 weeks into this debacle. There must surely be something going on in these pots, right? No. Bloody Sundays, what's going on? All this setup for this video and it's going to be for nought. What a waste of time. I don't get what I'm doing wrong. I'm keeping the soil moist and I've got the light on. I've even put the heating on for longer despite that going against every fibre of my being. Gutted. I really wanted a home filled with Monstera Deliciosas. Where's that bin? Huh? Who put those there? Was it you, Mrs. Sheffield? Yeah, but I put them in the bin for a reason. Nothing's going to happen with them. Yeah. I'll... whatever. Right. These pots need to go. Taking up some prime real estate up here. Hey? What's this? Well, my plant friend, it looked like I jumped the gun because look what we have here. A little mister is poking through to say hello. I thank whoever plucked these from the bin and put them back on the shelf for me. Must be a guardian angel or something. So yeah, it looks like most of these have now germinated, thank the Lord. Maybe a bit of neglect high up on the shelf is all they needed. Or a bit of patience, maybe. Anyway, I can't wait to see how things progress from here now that I finally got life. Right, this is week 10 of the project and it's fair to say I've got a bit of a mixed bag on the go. I've still got one pot that is showing no signs of life, so maybe that's a dud or something. I should really stop poking around like this, probably setting him back longer still. I've got a few that are still very early doors, only just poking their heads above the canopy. I've got one that is busting a gut to show off his first bit of cleavage, and one that is showing his off loud and proud. But hang on, where's the fenestrations? Monsteras are meant to come with slits in the leaves, aren't they? Have I been sent beans all along? What's the website say? Monsteras grown from seed will most likely not put out a fenestrated leaf for years? For years? For years? Now that's what the time I'm wasting all my time doing this all along. Excuse me. Why did I start this again when I could have just bought a ready-made plant from the store rather than going through the pain and self-doubt of trying to raise these from seeds? Oh yeah, views. And the enormous sense of well-being from having created new life from scratch, of course. Yeah, that too. It's now a whopping 9 weeks later, which would make this week 19 of the whole project, and still this little bugger is refusing to raise himself from his slumber. I'll keep at it, I won't give up on him like I nearly did with him and all his brothers 14 weeks ago, but in my defence it was the middle of January, so I was probably suffering from a serious case of the post-Christmas blues. Anyway, just look at the progress we made. All of them pretty much have 2 whole leaves to show for themselves. Unfenestrated leaves, but leaves nonetheless. This one looks to be the furthest along, but all the others are catching up fast. Shall we have a little peek at the roots? Yeah, why not? I love Monstera roots and I'm dead interested to see how they look at this seedling stage. Ooh, look, they're even poking out of the drainage hole. I hope they're not root bound already. Nah, these look perfect. Maybe I'm not too bad looking after plants after all, despite what my green darlings say behind my back. These roots really do look great, and I love the fact you can still see the seed. I think I'll leave them in these pots until they've filled out a bit more and then upsize them later. It's 8 weeks later now, so week 27 of the project, and you would expect to see some decent changes, wouldn't you? Turns out, not so much. What this confirms to me is that Monstera really is one of the slowest plants to grow. They take an absolute age, it drives me nuts. I mean, it's taken 4 years to grow this from a leafless wet stick. I've got bricks growing quicker than this. Anyway, there are a few things happening that is worth pointing out, so bear with me. You'll notice that they do pretty much all have 3 leaves, so that's 1 leaf in 8 weeks for all of them. I've got a couple that are actually starting their 4th leaf, and I think that's because I've given these a little extra something to push them on. Something that is top secret at the moment, but one I'll be making a video on later in the year, so subscribe to be notified when that comes out. See what I did there? But it seems that the Lord giveth and taketh away at the same time. Yes, yellowing leaves. I'm not too panicked about this, honest I'm not. It's to be expected, right? Right? I can't expect it to keep that little leaf it first pushed out forever. Leaves die off and new ones come in, it's the circle of life. What's slightly more concerning is the chronic case of the daddy longlegs they've all caught. I'd be much happier if the petioles were much shorter. I had moved them to my windowsill a few weeks ago and this seems to have done a number on them. But I'll move them back under my Santiolites after this to soak up the artificial rays they clearly crave. Right, let's repot these bad boys because they're looking a bit silly in these little pots now, aren't they? It's always a great idea to get your Monstera climbing as soon as you can, so I'm going to somehow pop one of these onto a moss pile. I bet you've pruned and propagated your Monstera and been left with little stumps like these. Don't chuck these in the bin because they can actually be turned into full plants. I show you the full process of growing Monstera stumps in 3 different mediums to see which is best, and you can check it out by clicking on this link. I'll see you there.